What encouraged you to uh, leave it all and surrender yourself to the path of monkhood? And what was the journey like? What pulled you in there?
It's very interesting because, as you know, like usually in India, families are religious families.
Hmm.
So in my home, my mother is a deeply religious lady. So I grew up listening to her chanting Ramcharitmanas practically daily. And even in the morning in the kitchen, those chapais would be playing and she would be cooking meals and things like that. And so spirituality or religion was an intricate part of my existence, my life. And when I started doing yagyas and things, I learned Yajurveda at the age of 11. So I learned Vedic chanting and the full Karma Kanda and so on. And then learned astrology as well and things. Although that was purely on my own volition, it's not something anybody in my family ever practiced. My father was working in the electricity board as a superintendent. So was my mother. And my two siblings, my elder sister and elder brother, Rajan and Upasna. So they were there. So when I got interested in astrology, numerology, and so on, I wanted to know what the truth really was. And I was quite a young boy at 8 years of age when I had a dream of Shiva, and I kept thinking if it was real, then I would like to experience him again. And that was my whole journey, Amish, really, and Bhavna. I'm telling you 100% the pure truth. So when I was doing business and doing other things, I've always practiced Sanatana Dharma, and I did yajna, did my puja, did my sadhanas, did many purush charanas, even tried many aspects of tantra. But what the scripture said should happen to a seeker, none of that ever happened to me. And I thought, एक बार सिर्फ यही करके देख लिया जाए. Let me for once just focus on this thing because I'm not a multitasking person. I can only do one thing at a time. So I said, let me just put this all behind me and give it up and then just try this. Although I decided 10 years in advance. Roughly when I was 20, I thought if I can do what I want to do in 10 years in the material world, then I won't be able to do it in 50 either. I mean, 10 years is good enough a time to bring anything into the world. So at 30, then as I had decided beforehand, I just walked away one day and then I went to a guru, my guru Naga Baba in Kashi. So, but there my experience, like I walked away very disillusioned, put it this way. So then I went to the Himalayas. Then I meditated in caves and woods, and my only journey was this: if you exist, I feel overwhelmed when I talk about this. I said, if you exist, then you please show up. I don't want signs. I'm sick and tired of signs. People say वो संकेत दे रही हैं, देवी माँ संकेत दे रही हैं, वो भगवान का संकेत था, वो तितली आके बैठी, वो संकेत था. Those were signs. I said, if I have to say something to somebody, I won't just give them an indication. I'll tell them straight up. So if you exist, manifest somehow. Just, just make it clear to me. Or if you don't exist, then why am I wasting my time here? And that was my whole journey. So I can say it took thousands of hours. I've meditated more than 15,000 hours in my life. And during the days of the Himalayas, my intense practice, I practically did just that, nothing else. Just parked myself in a cave first. People started coming there. Then 2 months later, I went away in the woods. That's where I just meditated day and night and cried for Divine Mother, cried for God. And that was my whole thing. Just sit in intense meditation dhyana, just meditating on her form. And you can call it hallucination or you can call it a real experience of a consciousness of another level. But on the 13th of Feb 2011, I had my first very comprehensive vision, and that gave me so much inner peace and strength because, to tell you the truth, I was willing to die. I was very happy to not live without, if I didn't find the truth, I didn't want to live. I was happy to give up not just anything, but even my life on my quest. Well, you know how they say that Maya taji to kya taja, man taja na jaye. मान बड़े ऋषिवर गले मान सबहु को खाए. That if you give up wealth, it's no big deal. I mean, it's not like we were born with any. But so we acquire wealth. Wealth is an output of an outcome of how much value we add to the society. It's social debt. The more people perceive you give value, the more wealth you accumulate one way or the other. So I never felt even for a moment that I was giving up really anything or much. I thought, if my needs are met. So for 4 years, I lived in a mud hut, and so on. And but absolutely glorious time. So pravrittim cha nivrittim cha mohamev cha pandava. Whether we choose the path of indulgence or household or living in the world, or we go away the other way. But really, the truth is that there is not much difference. I mean, Jatilo Mundi Lunchit Kesha Kasha Yambar Bahukritavesha. Pashyanapi Nasa Pashyati Muda Udar Nimittim Bahukrit Shoka. Just because I'm wearing a robe does not make me any special or a monk or somebody who's not. I'm eating the same food as you do. I'm eating the same, I'm wearing similar clothes. I need a roof over my head, and I'm living pretty comfortably, as you can see. So what I mean to say is, usually the person who truly is a saint is somebody whose conduct is saintly, as opposed to somebody who wears a robe. So I always remind myself that I have to keep myself truthful and purified at all times. Somebody asked Ramakrishna Paramhansa once, why do you still meditate? You've seen the Divine Mother. Why do you still meditate or still pray to her? He said, he pointed to a little water pot of his, which was made of brass. He said, if we don't wash it every day, the stains won't go away. And that's really prajati yada kaman sarvan parth manogatan atmanevatman tishta sit pragyastatuchyate. Ultimately, the one who accomplishes anything is the one who can live with a sense of equanimity, as you know. And that's really the basis of dharma, knowing what is what I ought to be doing under any given circumstance, under any given situation. I think as long as there is confusion, I mean, Arjuna knew dharma, but bookish. And that was his entire confusion. And that's why Krishna said to him, Shochana va shochasam pragyavada bhashase. Gata suna gata sunshta nanu shochanti pandita. Don't tell me these words of wisdom, Kante. Your knowledge is not your own. It is information you carry, not wisdom, not insight, not knowledge. And then he said, that yadate mohkalilam buddhir vidittarishadi tadagantas nirvedam shutvasya shrutasya ja. Your problem, Kante, Krishna said, is you've read too many books. And that's why your knowledge is not your own. So my case was very similar. I was a lost soul in the sense I just wanted to know what the truth was. Was it that what the books were saying, and many books were saying different things, or was it something else? So, as you know, when we have a burning desire, when you had the burning desire to write this book, or when you two had the desire to write this book, then nothing could stop you. You just took it in your stride, and you say, day and night. Then you can't wait for the night to be over, because you want to get up and get started again. Or even at night, you don't go to sleep. You just keep writing and writing it. Your world is taken over by a creative quest, by the pursuit to create something beautiful. This quest for truth is not very dissimilar. It's very nearly identical. It takes you over. You can't think anything else. You just it's like being in love, and you just everything else becomes immaterial.